back to our cabinet series. Really good to have you here.
Good to be back, Jim.
Yeah. Well, I thought in this segment we would really talk a little bit more about maybe some costs and more of the process. So maybe the first question I had for you was, is there a fee involved at all to get my cabinet project estimated?
Dunn Lumber does not charge a fee for your design. And it also is not a one and done thing. We do a design as an interactive process between the customer and the designer, where we do an initial design. From that initial design, we ask that the customer take that design and look at it, spend some time sitting in their kitchen looking at the design, and then we set up another appointment where we talk about tweaking the design to get it a little closer. And we may need to adjust some cabinet sizes. The customer may decide they want drawers instead of doors on a cabinet. All of that is then handled with the revisions. And usually after 2 or 3 revisions, we've got the kitchen just dialed in, so it is exactly what the customer wants. And again, there is no cost for that.
So revisions are okay.
Oh yes, absolutely. It would scare me to sell a kitchen with no revisions, because it means pretty much that the customer didn't look at anything I sent them.
So samples. I know there's color chips, there's swatches, there's things like that, but I know you have a better way to go about that.
So we can arrange to have our cabinet manufacturer send you, they're about 3 by 5 inch chips out of the wood that you're looking at, the wood species you're looking at, with the stain color or the paint color you're looking at. And that's certainly a good starting point. We can have those chips sent. When it gets a little further along, we do recommend that you order a sample door. There is a cost for that initially to the customer, but Dunn also will refund the cost of up to 3 sample doors when you order your kitchen and when you order your full kitchen from us. The advantage to a sample door is there's a bigger piece. They're 18 by 24 inches roughly. Yeah. It is ordered in the door style you're looking at, it's in the wood that you're looking at, and the color, either stain or paint that you're looking at. So now you have this bigger piece that you can set up, and it's much easier to visualize what it's going to look like. Especially if you're looking at some of the more exotic woods, or at least the louder woods, as I like to call them. Maple is, very fine grain, is pretty uniform, but then hickory is just off the charts as far as color variation and what you're going to get. So especially if you're looking at some of those types of woods, you do really want to order the sample door to get a better sense of what a larger piece is going to look like.
That idea of a bigger sample definitely makes a lot of sense.
And that actually is one of the recommendations that I give to my customers, is when they're talking about, will this go well with this color paint, is I suggest they paint a large swatch on the wall, because you make it as big as you can, because it just makes it easier to visualize.
I know we've had this conversation, you and I, with previous reps and so forth, but like most things, a lot of people walk in saying, hey, can I just get a rough estimate? And I know that question brings on a whole new sense of challenges when you're talking about a cabinet project.
It does. So I know I irritated more than a few customers because I just refuse to do a ballpark estimate. There are so many options, all of which affect cost. And I mean, for example, if you're doing a cabinet with doors versus drawers, a door cabinet is less expensive than a cabinet with drawers because of the hardware that goes in it. So if you ballpark something and the customer, you haven't talked with the customer yet, you don't know what they're thinking, and all of a sudden they want all doors, or they want fancy pantry cabinets, or all of this, then your ballpark figure is not going to be accurate. Yeah. Which is why, and coupled with the fact that we don't charge for the design work, this is why I really insist that customers give me enough opportunity to actually produce an initial design, because once it's on the computer, we can look at it, and the computer will then price out an exact cost for that particular design. And it's just, I found that over the years, that's just a better way to go, to just give us a little time to work it out so that we can give you a meaningful price, not just a ballpark that could be way high or way low.
Yeah, I can see how that can be challenging in so many areas. It's that you don't know what you don't know. I think about sliding or just patio doors. So you have an 8-foot opening. You could probably spend, give or take, $1,000, $1,200 for a nice entry-level door. Functional, fine. You could probably also spend $8,000 on a fancy folding. Yeah, so I totally get that. Thought maybe we could close out the session by just talking about the idea of people not being in a rush. You know, it's a big project. There's a lot of details. And I know sometimes, gosh, I've got to get it done. My contractor can only fit me in here, or my architect's leaving town, or whatever, and they want to rush the process. Could you talk about maybe the pitfalls of some of that?
So you really cannot rush the cabinet process. You need to allow, I would say, a minimum of 2 weeks to do the design, because by the time you get in to see the designer has to have time to draw the plans, send the plans back to you. You need to confirm that everything works as the way you want it, allow time for revisions. So just the design process is going to be a minimum of about 2 weeks. You also have to recognize that the designer is not working for just you. The designer has multiple projects on his or her plate at any given time. And so everybody needs attention. So sometimes it can take a day or two for the designer to get your revisions made and get the plan back to you. Once you have settled on a design, you're looking at between 6 and 8 weeks delivery time from the time you place your order until they're delivered. And you just cannot speed that process up, because the companies that Dunn uses for their cabinets have no cabinets sitting on a shelf somewhere they can load in a truck and ship out. They custom build everything to your order, and as a result, that takes time.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. And maybe the most important thing is for people to sit down and really look again at their drawing.
What I try and express to people that this is the time to be making changes. It costs you nothing to change your mind, revise your design. Where it starts to get really expensive is when you have cabinets sitting in your garage and you decide that you don't like the design choice. Well, there's not much you can do except for buying new cabinets and starting the whole wait process over again.
Gotcha. So maybe a good round figure would be try to get your head around 90 days, if you can.
Yes,
if you can.
that would be about right.
Okay, I appreciate it. Great stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.